This is One on One. We are pleased to welcome, for the first time here on public television with us, Susan Scherreik, who is a founding director, Center for Entrepreneurial Studies, Stillman School of Business at the great Seton Hall University. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so delighted to be here today.
It's our pleasure. Describe the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies and the essence of being an entrepreneur.
Well, we started our center, Steve, in 2003. We'd gotten a $1 million endowment from an entrepreneur alum. And fast forward to today, we have 18 courses in entrepreneurship. We have 2 entrepreneurship business contests. We have an Entrepreneur Hall of Fame dinner in which we induct successful alumni entrepreneurs into that. We award a student or young alum an Emerging Entrepreneur Award. We have about 50 entrepreneurs coming to campus every year to hang out with our students and share their knowledge. The essence of an entrepreneur: can do. Dream it, do it. It's an empowerment. We have alumni entrepreneurs who are sharing their knowledge with our student entrepreneurs. And Steve, I have to tell you, I've been doing this now about 13 years. The last 2 years, I have been totally blown away by what I can only term the Shark Tank generation.
The Shark Tank generation, what do you mean by that?
Well, as we all know, the popular show Shark Tank, and there's many shows that are like that. Students today, they want to be entrepreneurs. They want to change the world. Sure, they want to make money. Everybody does. You want to get a good job after college. But more than that, they have passion. They see something that needs fixing in the world, either on a social entrepreneurship level, which is solving a problem in the community, or they want to create a product or a service, and they feel very empowered to do that.
You see that?
Unbelievable.
Any difference between young men and young women in this regard? Or both across the board you see it?
Well, typically there are more young men, and just men in general, who are entrepreneurs. There are fewer women. But I have to tell you that the teens and young adults and students in their 20s who are coming up the ranks, I don't see that much different.
You don't?
With the ones who are really running businesses. Now, I do see a difference in that some young women are more hesitant to get involved in entrepreneurship. And I have to tell you, I ride them pretty hard. I say, get out there, do your idea. You're just as good as anyone else. You've got to get out and just really try it. It's, in a lot of ways, entrepreneurship is like a contact sport. You just got to get out on the field.
It's funny, people, how often do we know, and my wife's actually just, as we're doing this, starting a business and it's growing and she's in it. And she'll often, we'll talk about this and I'll try not to get too aggressive with my own ideas, because she's great at what she does and I can have this controlling thing, but that's another show. I'll bring in a psychologist for that. My point is, there's no substitute for being in it, making your mistakes, learning from them. It is a contact sport. And people who want to analyze and talk about it but not do it, they're not entrepreneurs.
Steve, you're so right. When I first started in this field about 10, 13 years ago, the model for a successful entrepreneur was basically you went to college, maybe graduate school, you got out, worked for a big company, say like AT&T. You might see, something that wasn't being addressed in your industry. Then you might go out on your own. You had a lot of industry knowledge, and that's how you grew your company.
Today?
The opposite. That what we're finding through academic research is that the younger you start to be an entrepreneur, the better off you are. By the time you get to college, some of our students who are launching their own businesses, they've already had 3 or 4 businesses. They've started when they were 12. And maybe they weren't so successful in that, baking dog biscuit business. But by the time they get to college, they have figured out, they've learned from their mistakes, because a big part of entrepreneurship is failure. You learn from your mistakes. And you've got to get out there and be part of that game. Now, there's also theory. We try to facilitate an entrepreneurial mindset. a big part of entrepreneurship is opportunity recognition. How do you look around your universe and how do you see a problem that needs fixing?
I call it connecting the dots.
Exactly.
How do you teach connecting the dots, being that strategic in your ability to see what others don't see? Is that teachable?
Well, it's true that some people are born entrepreneurs, but yes, you can teach those qualities. You teach that opportunity recognition, that can-do spirit. A lot of it, I think, is coaching and role models. Those two elements, I think, are more important than anything.
Which is why you bring a lot of entrepreneurs in to talk about their experience.
Exactly. And I think it's very important at a university that you bring in your own alum. Because if a student sees someone who's now a very successful entrepreneur who sat in the same desk and seats and maybe even had some of the same professors that you are having now, that's inspiring you. That's giving you confidence to say, you know what, I think I can do that too. Now, the other important thing, a lot of people say that entrepreneurs are stopped because they don't have enough funds.
I don't have the capital.
Right.
You say? I
say no way. What you need more than anything is great coaching. You need a sounding board. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that young entrepreneurs say is, I have a wonderful idea. No one has ever thought of this idea before. But if I tell you, you're going to steal that idea.
That's a mistake because?
Because if I've thought of that idea, Steve, you've probably also thought of that great idea. And it's really execution and getting to market. But you also need to tell selected, trusted advisors about your idea and get feedback for that idea. And so what we have at the Stillman School and throughout the university, we have our students working one-on-one with some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the state. And which a lot of people know about the Stillman School and Seton Hall in general, is that the alumni are very, very involved. If I send an email to an entrepreneur who's running a big company and say, will you meet with, a student? I get an email back in 5 or 10 minutes. Yes, of course.
They give.
Exactly. And so we really leverage that strength at our university. So our students are being coached by very successful entrepreneurs. We're always trying to make connections. Oh, this industry, who we know in this industry,
Again,
that
connecting
industry.
dots. By the way, I know you have a lot of competition, high school and college competitions as well. There's a pirate pitch that goes along as well. By the way, people know the website. You put up the website, team. Nicole, did we do that? So people can go on your website to find out at the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies, Stillman School of Business, Seton Hall University. Susan Scherreik is the founding director, and I should say that I have taught at Seton Hall and will be again next year. And I'm proud to be connected to that wonderful institution. And just not at your place. I just wanted to fully disclose that. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be here, Steve. Thank you.
You got it. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by TD Bank, Suez, Partners for Health Foundation, the Russell Berry Foundation, ShopRite Supermarkets, the Northward Center, and by Gary's Wine and Marketplace. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.